The stranger on the bus next to me whispered into my ear, "You stole my life." I was on my usual bus route home from the library when at the next stop, a man came onto the bus and sat next to me. He sat down and whispered into my ear, "You're not supposed to be here." I tried to ignore him. The bus often has weirdos and those that are either on something or doing some kind of subsistence. To make eye contact is an invitation. Then he said my name. "You're Griffin Henry Edwards." He said like he knew something I didn't. I felt the hair on the back of my neck stand up. I slowly turned to him and put my book on my lap. "Do I know you?" I asked, confused. He looked angry and upset. Something in me wished I'd paid attention during the self-defense seminar that happened at the library 3 weeks ago. "No, but you're living my life," he said through clenched teeth. Now I knew he had to be under the influence of something. "Sorry, man, but you've got the wrong person." I laughed like I was on some kind of prank show. I was a 21-year-old mild-mannered college student who worked in the school library. "No," he hissed low, clearly not wanting to draw attention to us. "You've got my job, my apartment, my credit history, everything. You've even got my parents' birthdays and their wedding anniversary memorized better than I ever did," he said, clearly upset. My stomach dropped. "What do you mean?" I asked, confused and wishing my stop was next. I still had several stops to go. The man reached into his jacket and pulled out a folded document. The document was old, creased, and official looking. He didn't hand it to me, just tapped the heading. It read, "U.S. Department of Justice Witness Protection Program." I stood up so fast, the bus driver yelled at me to sit down. "Look, I don't know what kind of scam you're running, but you picked the wrong guy," I say, shaking. "You were issued my identity 12 years ago after I testified," he said quietly. The bus hit a pothole and I nearly fell out of my seat. "I was 9 years old 12 years ago. I lived in Seattle. I played Little League. I had braces," I said. "So did I, until my father was murdered," the man said. I stared at him. He leaned in closer. "My father testified against a construction company tied to organized crime. They buried the bodies underneath construction sites. He was killed 3 weeks later. I was the only eyewitness," he said. I feel my chest tighten. "I don't remember any of this," I said. "Of course you don't. You weren't supposed to," the man said. He finally showed me the document. Under my name was the words, "Identity status, reassigned." I stared at it in disbelief. "You were the replacement. Same age, same build, clean medical record. You slid perfectly into my life while I disappeared," he said. I shook my head. "That's not how witness protection works. They just don't give identities away," I said. "They do when the witness is a child and the identity is safer in circulation rather than being erased," the man said again. The bus stopped at my stop. 2 police officers were waiting. I panicked. "I didn't do anything," I said, putting my hands up automatically. "I know, neither did I," the man said. "The officers escorted us off the bus. People stared. One person was filming. At the station, we were separated, fingerprinted, and questioned. I kept insisting it was all a big mistake, that I never even had a parking ticket. Then a federal agent walked in. She didn't introduce herself. "You were never supposed to find out like this," she said before she explained everything. How the man had been too traumatized to testify as a child if he wasn't protected. The solution was unusual. They found another child in the system, me, similar enough to not raise questions if I took on the identity. My biological parents had died very young. My foster records were lost. I was perfect. They made him disappear while I became him. I didn't agree. I said my words caught in my throat. "You were 4. The government made the decision for you," the agent said. The man came up to me. "Thank you for keeping me safe," he said as he was escorted away by another agent. He got his life back. The agent then offered me a new identity, a new life in a new city like it was a gift. So now I sit on a bus with a new name on my ID. Every time someone says my name, I end up wondering how long until someone else comes up and tells me, "You're not supposed to be here."